Travesty. What a fucking travesty. This can't be happening. I refuse for this to happen, and I do not like this. Anyways, what's up? What's happening? It's K.A. I'm back at you again with another video. I haven't done so many videos in one day in my life. But anyways, we back here to discuss now. As I was recording some other shit, this popped up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. We here to talk about Joseph Budden of the Joe Budden Podcast with Rory and Ma. And, there's some dissension in the cast, in the group, and Rory and Ma are not on the show. And it is fucked up. A lot of people are wondering what the fuck is happening. And we are going to discuss this. I've heard some clips. I've heard some people talk. Well, I'm gonna read. There's a little article. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we're gonna get into that. But before we do that, like, subscribe, share, help your boy out, help your boy grow a little bit. It's hard times, pandemic and all that little ish. You hear me? So yeah, help your boy out, help your boy grow a little bit. Oh my god. I hate when you looking for a specific thing and then your tablet tries to like do some dumb ass shit. Like, nigga, load. Oh, now. It's so stupid from time to time. That's what. Sorry. But yeah, like, subscribe, help your boy out, help your boy grow. And yeah, we gonna get into this real quick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyways, let's get into this shit real quick. Now, if you don't know who Joe Budden is a former rapper who had some big songs, pump it up. Had his little thing, did his shit. And then he came back, started his little podcast, and he continued, and it was what it was. Honestly, it was what it was, and we continued on with it, and it was cool. We had the podcast, he introduced us to Rory and Ma. It was a good time. Brought Parson, it was a good time. Had their big deal with Spotify. I covered that little problem they had. And then after he started his own network and he continued on doing his thing, he had beef with Charlemagne for some fucking reason about how they do business and approach things, but whatever the fuck that happened. But anyways, we're here to talk about it now. Joe Budden. This is an article that some nigga wrote. Joe Budden addresses rumors of Rory and Ma's departure from the podcast following an extended break from the two co-hosts. I heard that they got suspended, but we'll talk about that later after we're done watching this. The Joe Budden Podcast is easily one of hip-hop's most influential platforms, a testament to Joe Budden's growth as a businessman and a media personality alike and a human being. Yet, longtime fans of Budden have come to expect a few speed bumps along the way, and a recent narrative has sprung suggesting that longtime co-hosts Rory and Ma are on the verge of an unceremonious departure from the podcast. After their absence on a recent Joe Budden podcast and the subsequent cancellation episode that may speculate revolved around Rory and Ma's situation, Joe Budden returned with a new update during today's new episode, Tea Leaves, joined by interim co-hosts Ice and Savon. Joe Budden addresses the elephant in the room, insinuating that the return of his longtime collaborators was not a matter of if, but when. I'll eliminate some of the suspense, begins Joe. Around this 16-minute mark, that is Rory's seat, that is Ma's seat. Whenever they feel like returning to their seats, then they'll return to their seats. And then what will happen is the same thing when your star player comes back to the team. He also explains that he loves when the podcasts goes through these type of turmoil, elaborating that it shapes character. Still, he does admit that he was blindsided by the way things have unfolded, only that he loves Rory and Ma like brothers. Sorry, my battery's not, so I'm reading fast. Sometimes in friendship and business, everyone needs to take a step back and go to their respective corners, he states. Sometimes everyone's perspective and perception on how to go about that and how it should be executed is different. As the conversation unfolds, Park steps in to offer his own perspective, noting that friendship and business can be difficult to balance and often requires lawyers and management to meditate. I've been doing business with Joe for a very long time, he continues. I don't come to you with business shit because we have to keep doing shit. Other people should probably have somebody else talk to you or one of your professionals. Later, he claims that Rory and Ma's beef does not stem from a financial place, prompting Budden to jump in. It is not beef, he clarifies. Nobody has communicated a beef. What they have communicated to me is something is wrong, whether that be in our friendship, how we're speaking to each other, the respect level. Though there is certainly much to unpack on the topic through tea leaves, Joe Budden doesn't exactly speak as directly on the situation as some might like. As such, it is likely that fans of the podcast will continue to read between the lines, monitoring Budden, Rory, and Ma's respective social media pages for further insight. Be sure to check out Joe's side on the podcast, cryptic at times, though it may be below. And yeah, I've heard some things. I've heard, Rory's going through some situations, his dad's situation and his girl's situation. If you remember the video I had, because I've been seeing a jump in the video, and I'm surprised when I did the thing about apparently Rory had a side chick, academics brought it to light, and he might be going through problems with that. I don't know. Go check that video. You know what? Fuck it. I'm bringing back the eyes. Up here, nigga. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing it back. Go check that shit out. I've done some videos on that. So what I've heard in from other creators and other platforms is basically some stuff was happening. Rory and Joe had some friction on the recent past podcast. They've been like, oh, yo, let's fight. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I haven't been keeping up with the podcast since January because some bullshit happened. Some bullshit happened in my life. I had to get that shit out of the way. I ain't gonna lie to you. But, some issues was happening. And, yeah, they were joking about fighting. There was some friction there. So, again, Rory has his own issues. So, then Joe's like, this is speculation. I don't know. This is not 100% factual. Hey, there's motherfuckers that are saying this shit and speculating. I'm just reviewing that. Don't say it was me. Don't say you got it from me. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so, yeah, friction. So then, also there was a thing of Rory going to the See Here's the Thing podcast and saying, yo, their set is better than ours. They get fucking catering with steak. They have some shorty come and give them manicures. How come the fuck we don't get that? But then Joe's like, yo, that's from my money or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's from my money. That's out of my own pocket. But anyways, like I was saying, there was some friction. So basically, Joe suggested, yo, you should take some time off to handle your affairs and handle your business. Maybe we got issues. We need to be away from each other. And da-da-da-da-da. And then basically some shit happened. Like, Ma's like, wait, if we're the podcast, like, why is it that you should deem that? Should we all not come to that decision to do that? And then after, yeah, there was some shit like that. Maybe there was some big nigga, little niggling shit, Joe is the boss. That's why when the podcast is named the Joe Budden Podcast, I don't know why that wasn't the name. You should have kept it. We'll name this podcast later because I don't know why you just made it the Joe Budden Podcast, JBP, with Rory and Ma. You should have came as a collective, had a name for it, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, he's kind of the one to talk to. Remember when he was breaking down the Spotify thing? He was like, yo, you're offering this money to me, but that's great. I gotta make sure this nigga's good. I gotta make sure Rory good. I gotta make sure Savon good. I gotta make sure Parks are good. Y'all can't just be like, here you go, figure it out for all them niggas. No, everybody gotta be taken care of. So it's like, it's hard being the boss. Like, he has the name of this shit, and he's basically the boss at this point. Let's keep it about. He's been the boss. Come on. And maybe they're thinking of this shit. Like it was said, it's hard to do relationships with friends. But maybe he was thinking, oh, well, with this happening, what the fuck is this coming out of nowhere? But these are your friends. They're not like business associates. So you can't talk to them any which way. And you have to clarify on certain things. And you have to come together. But you made it like, oh, y'all is bosses. So it's just weird. Honestly, I just feel like there has to be more understanding with this situation. Because it would suck. Because Ice and Savon, they're cool. But at the end of the day, they're not Rory and Ma. We enjoy Rory and Ma. So it is what it is. And they're filling in. Which, if they're all a collective, they probably would have took time out. It's messy. But hopefully they figure it out. Because it's not the same without them. But hey, we'll see what it is, man. Hey, y'all not ended the Joe Budden Podcast. Also, Parks had his thing. He doesn't talk to Joe about business. He might need some professionals and shit. And they said it's not financial. So maybe it's just how things go and whose voice is heard and stuff like that. Maybe that's the real problem with this shit. They always say it's not easy doing business with family and friends. And I guess they hit that point that it's not easy. But what the fuck y'all think about this? Hopefully they're well. But yeah, I said my piece. And we'll see what the fuck happens with it. You know what it is? It's been K.A. And I'm off of this thing. Time Zoom. Peace, y'all. Alright.